A full recap of day one, and what better way to end, I guess. I'm not sure about number one in that top 10, but almost a sad way of ending the day because Na'Vi obviously going out on a mistake as well. So, I don't know. What do you think about that first day? It's an explosive start, and it's just the first day of 6.
I still think that even if he got the grave on AM there, that was actually completely over. So luckily not ending on just that one mistake, but still sad for Na'Vi. I think LGD Empire, throughout these highlights as well, it just kind of shows how that series was so high level. I actually think that was the best games we had yesterday.
Interesting as well that we saw a lot of action from MVP in that top 10, and they didn't go through yesterday, Hot 6 did, but Phoenix did, and that's got to give a little bit of hope to the Koreans, hasn't it?
I mean, they have to carry on March's legacy, the legacy of March, you know.
Yeah, it was very intense games. Honestly, they put up a great fight.
Yeah. Where do they go from here, Winter? Where do they build off this? Because, you know, trying to qualify last year, qualifying this year, getting to top 12 is a great achievement, but it's still not where Koreans I know like to dominate games and win tournaments. So where do they go next?
I mean, there's improvement, that's for sure. But as of now, I think they can even go further. I feel a lot of confidence right now after that win, and I still believe that they have a lot of usable strategies that they haven't really shown everyone else in the event, and coming off a win like this is going to give them a lot of confidence that we can actually do this. We can actually play our own game and actually go far.
As they're in best of 3 now as well, that's the bigger part. There you have some ability to actually pull out these strategies.
Yeah, we aren't going to see them back today, but we will see them tomorrow in the lower bracket against Team Empire. It's a tough ask to come across a team who actually looked quite good yesterday, even though they went out. But they've got that potential to be very good, Team Empire. So how do MVP Phoenix kind of, conquer that?
It's going to be very tough. Yeah. Empire shows.
Should they just spend the whole day today just watching everything that Empire have ever done in 684?
I think focus on your own game as much as possible. Of course, you prepare for your opponents, but they need to just try and refine what they're doing and bring their game as much as possible.
Okay, we're going to move on to day 2 in just a moment, but there is one other story that we would like to bring to your attention if you didn't notice it yesterday, and that is of March from MVP. He has a fantastic story and a very sad story. He's now 28, of course, which is, in my opinion, no age for a gamer, but he's on the verge of retirement because he has to go and do 2 years military service. And he was with Casey yesterday after his win.
Fresh off their win versus Newbie, we have March with MVP Phoenix. How are you feeling right now?
Very hyped up. I don't know. All I remember is just screaming in the booth, and then I feel like I'm back in reality that I need to calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
At what point during this particular game did you realize that you might have it?
The game was very close, but around the Dire Secret shop where Lion missed a stun and got lucky bashes on 3 people, I think that's the point where I felt strong to win the game.
How are you feeling as a team? You have fought your way to get here. You won the wild card, and now you just beat Newbie. How does it feel to have come this far?
I want more. I don't know. I want more. After the taste of victory, I think I want more. I want to go further.
How much farther you think you got?
As much as I can. Yeah, until I pass out.
Until you pass out?
Yeah.
Well, that would mean you gave it all you got.
I think I can give it more. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
As captain, what were you doing to lead your team to this victory?
To be honest, I think I was just feeding in the game. All I was doing was screaming to hype up the team, bring the team morale that we can win. And then at the end, I saw my items and scores, and it wasn't so impressive.
Describe that moment when you saw that.
When I saw my items?
Yeah.
Well, you usually would go BKB or tanky items, but I had one random plate mail, one random ogre club, and no finished items. I was 1 and 9 or something. I didn't even know until the end, but I'm very happy that we won though.
Oh my gosh. Are you going to allow this to sink in a little bit, or are you already looking ahead to the next game?
I think we'll enjoy our victory first, but not too much. We just figured out, we know that the next opponent is Empire, and they seem very strong against LGD, but I think we can take them, and that's why we have to go back and analyze our replay all over again. Yeah.
When you and I chatted earlier, we talked about your strengths and weaknesses as a team. What are those now that you've been through the group stages and you've played your first international game?
I think at this big stage, we could have been scared UB is a team that's full of experience. They are last year TI champions, but we never been to TI. But like I said, none of us get scared that much, or we try to not get scared. And then we're a very tempo team, and once it gets rolling, I think we can take any team down.
How does it feel to be representing South Korea like this?
I'm very proud. I hope there will be much more Korean teams, and I hope Korea becomes a big part of Dota in esports, Dota esports as well.
Well, you're leading the charge.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very happy.
I feel like we need to help you get your energy out. Do you want to give a big yell or anything? Maybe a move or something?
I don't know, I can yell.
Okay,
scream,
do you want to yell? Well, I'll do it with you so you don't feel so alone.
But wouldn't you kill the mic?
That's okay. We'll hold them like this.
All right.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. You win.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Great game. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was actually in me.
Fabulous. Absolutely fantastic.
How can you not like him?
He is so likable, and that's the great thing about him. But I do want to talk about the fact that he effectively has put in place a legacy for Korean Dota, and there is now an opportunity for them to now see some of the players come through, just as we saw in China, just as we've seen in Europe and North America and South America. And I don't know, we might sit back in 5 years and just look back at what his contribution was, not the 1 and 9, by the way, but his contribution to Korean Dota might just be enormous.
I have the biggest respect for that type of mindset. The guy actually tells you he didn't get the chance to look at his score throughout the whole game. But it says a lot about the mindset he has. He just plays for the team, and he's trying to win the game. And at the end, he was like, all right, maybe now he got lucky, he got the chance to look at his score. Maybe he doesn't even care about it. And then he's like, I was 1-9, but sometimes it's what you need. He was a spirit breaker in that game, so you need him to open the fights, and whatever happens after for him happens. But he's just doing his job. He's just trying to carry his team to victory, and that's very likable.
Let's take a look at the brackets from yesterday, starting with the upper bracket, where, of course, LGD and Team Empire went at it in the opening game of the day. They win 2-1 from LGD, of course. CDEC then coming through a little bit more surprisingly, perhaps, with a 2-0 victory over Cloud9. I think, we all thought that maybe CDEC had a small chance, and it would depend on maybe how Cloud9 played. But in the end, they absolutely dominated. So LGD will now play CDEC in the upper bracket of round 2. We can also take a look at the lower bracket, where MVP Phoenix, of course, came through. And it shouldn't be underestimated by the fact that they actually knocked out the defending champions. I think we didn't really talk about that very much yesterday, but they actually knocked out the defending champions. So a huge scalp for them as they move on to play Team Empire, of course, who dropped down from the upper bracket. Cloud9 also dropping down. They'll take on Vici Gaming, who came through that game with Na'Vi. Very emotional scenes in amongst that one as well. Still got a couple more games to go down in that lower bracket before we close everything up, and we'll see them at the end of the day. We'll have Virtus.pro winning against Fnatic, of course, now going through, so they're going to wait and see who they play, and IG coming through MVP Hot 6. Out of all of those, what was the most surprising, Malini?
I think there was a huge market difference in the upper bracket and the lower bracket games. I think game 1 LGD Empire had that huge overextension, and game 1 of Cloud9 they also had that Nature's Prophet strat. So we saw a lot of weird things coming out of the upper bracket, and lower bracket was very standard picks, very conservative plays, Burning with a Phantom Lancer. We saw Anti-Mage played by Havost, and people were drafting a lot more late game. So I think the upper brackets tend to be a lot more interesting because they know they have that lifeline.
Okay, let's get into day 2, because the expectations today are huge. There's some massive games, and we've all been chomping at the bit since we saw the draw. And I know in particular, I've got a real soft spot for Evil Genesis and Complexity, and we'll talk about that in a bit more detail later. But that is one of the games. We've also got Secret for the first time at the main event as well, so everyone's very excited about seeing how they can come in. But I don't think we need to discount eHome either. I know that it's a very historic name. They did very well at the very first TI. But with ROTK and CTY in a team, they've got just as good a chance as anyone in this tournament, haven't they?
CTY is a very, very impressive player. ROTK is also a good leader for them. He has a very good attitude in game. I think he brings a lot of energy. So interested to see what eHome can bring.
Indeed. EG Complexity, obviously, we've seen a lot of Canadian flags. Quite a lot of American flags today as well, walking around with EG signs on as well. So that's kind of like a home turf kind of fight off, really. I'm really looking forward to how this one works out. Is there anything else that stands out for you, Ben? Lower bracket or upper bracket?
I'm really excited to see two North American teams. I think we talked a lot about the Korean scene with 2 MVP, and last year there were none in the main event. But I think at the same time the North American scene definitely deserves some love. It's home turf. There's a lot of fans here. I'm excited to see so many people here early in the morning with flags and everyone cheering USA.
Yeah, I think we might get a few cheers, that's for sure.
It's interesting because it seems like the North American scene is getting stronger, because I remember previous TIs, there was EG, and I don't think any teams placed that high. Now, this time around, we have 2 teams that place really high in the group phases. So, and unfortunately, they clash. That they're gonna fight each other already, but it's not. No one's gonna get disqualified from that game. So.
Yeah, Winter in the lower bracket, Team Empire versus MVP Phoenix. We've seen March, and we all like him. We all think he's a great guy, but realistically, do they stand a chance against Empire, who did, after all, look very good against LGD for about 1.5 of the games, even though they lost 2-1?
I mean, they could have easily taken the series 2-0, honestly, if they had a better execution in certain fights. But if you talk about MVP as well, they have this huge morale boost from the win against Newbie. So I think that will play a huge factor. The whole team will be much more confident. And you go into a game like Empire. Empire is a team that runs at you, that they try to take fights against you. They play really aggressive. So MVP as a team has to respond with their own confidence and their own play style to be able to match them.
Okay. Seb, yesterday, Cloud9 didn't have the best of days, has to be said, although I think we shouldn't take anything away from CDEC playing really well in that game. They play Vici Gaming, who actually